First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. I just wanted to bring out this quick video that I saw today posted by Dabu. Right, if you don't follow him, go ahead and subscribe to him on YouTube. He goes into news and things that are happening in the world that relate to end times. Right, he goes into all of that, but he pretty much on YouTube in the community section he posted this going into how three hacker groups, Killnet, Re-Evil, and Anonymous Sudan from Russia have promised to carry out the largest cyber attack in the history of the banking sector in Europe under the slogan "No Money, No War." So pretty much going into how there's going to be these hacker groups that attack the European banking sector, right? The banks, the monetary system. And this would be tying directly into prophecy and directly into what these devils in the World Economic Forum have been saying, right? These people up top have been saying. Because let's get that video first. I have this video. Here it is. Klaus Schwab. He was talking about a cyber pandemic, right? A cyber attack that was going to happen. And let's watch the video real quick.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
So you hear this devil, right, clearly saying we have to be prepared for a potential cyber pandemic, right? And you know that when they say these things, they're just not talking out of their ass. No, they have a date, right? They have it already to a time when they're going to do this, right? It's not of if it's going to happen, it's about when it's going to happen, right? Because they have an entire agenda to bring the world into one governing body, right? One world government, one world religion, everything under one, and have full control over the people, right? That's why they want to get everyone to C-hipped, MOTB, to have full control over your life, okay? So here it is. This devil in 2020 was talking about a pandemic, and the funny thing he said is that that COVID would be pretty much nothing compared to this, and that's very true, right? If the lights were cut off, all energy, right, electricity, internet, people would not know what to do, right? The country would go into riots overnight, right? Because there would be no law, right? Everyone would just be fending for themselves for a little bit, and there would be no order, right? Jobs would be cut down, and it'd be a time like never before seen, how the scriptures talk about Daniel the 12th chapter, right? So here it is, this guy talking about it. So it's definitely gonna happen. And just how this lady said right here, Dion Leahy Thomas, it's not predictions, it's the plan. All of his plans are in play. Some countries don't want to do it. Right? It's an entire plan. They have an agenda that they're trying to push. But we just have to constantly wait and watch to see what they're doing. Right? Let me play this video that I was talking about, and it goes into this hacker group that is pretty much threatening, or they're saying that they're gonna attack the European banking sector.
We are Anonymous Sudan. Today, we are a direct threat to all European banks. European banks, you will soon be witnessing the most powerful cyber attack in the recent history of the world. Be prepared, because when we strike, it will be too late to make amends. Many European banks will be targeted and we will hit without mercy.
World has gone mad. The reason for this is money. If God rules Russia, then who rules Europe? That's right, the banking system. No money, no problem. Revel is sufficiently familiar with the European financial infrastructure. See you soon.
This is not a DDoS attack. Games are over. We call on all active groups to engage in destructive activities against the European banking system. No money, no weapons, no Kiev regime. This is the formula for the death of Nazism, and it will work. Within 48 hours we are launching this global company. Nothing will save you, and this is not a warning. I am just informing you. You have never seen such problems before. We are killing it.
Right, so these three hacker groups, Russian hacker groups, came out saying that. This was posted the 14th, right? So they said 48 hours, and that would land on Friday, tomorrow. And that's funny because I think it was a month ago, 2 months ago, there was a leaked video from the inside of, what's the name? The inside of it's pretty I forgot the name. It's in the US, or in Europe, pretty much the people that bail out, what is it called? Let me get it real quick. Lose money, bail out by, FDIC, right? The FDIC was pretty much saying that FDIC was pretty much saying that if there was something to happen, right? If there is economic collapse, we would want that to happen on a Friday. They literally said that in a leaked video. They were all together, and they pretty much said if there was something to happen, ideally we'd want it to happen on a Friday, because then people can't access the banks, right? They're closed over the weekend. They came out and said that, and here it is. We have 3 hacker groups, right? Let me search them up on Google and see what comes up. Anonymous Sudan. I was trying to see how credible these people are. Yeah, you can see it's on the news. Let's see what this one says here. Pro-Russian hacker groups. Like a big campaign. Let's look at this Twitter page. Just looking at things real quick. June 15, U.S. government agencies hit in global cyber attack. Right? And I didn't even know about this article. Let's read it real quick while we're on it. Several U.S. federal government agencies have been hit in a global cyber attack by Russian cybercriminals. Look at that, man. There's no way. 6:37 p.m. June 15th, 2023. EDT. Let's read this real quick. The agency has been hit in a global cyber attack by Russian criminals that exploits a vulnerability in widely used software. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency is providing support to several federal agencies that have experienced intrusions affecting their MOVEit applications, blah blah blah. That's funny we saw that, right? So they're definitely up to something. Hey, I was just going into if these people are credible, they're definitely credible. Right? Here it is, CNN talking about it. And ultimately CNN is the mouthpiece of the elites, right? It's all controlled. They're trying to push an agenda, but hey, literally what I was just bringing out. That's crazy. But let's see, where was I at? Oh yeah, hacker groups. The Swift payment, right? They're trying to attack the Swift payment system. That's the payment system of the entire all the countries pretty much. That's That's pretty much what they use to handle big transactions, is the SWIFT payment system. That's why the United States, or I think it's NATO and EU, they threaten people, they threaten countries by telling them that if they don't agree with their demands, they're gonna take them off the SWIFT payment system, right? But let me see if I can find anything else while I'm looking. So pretty much just Russian hackers, right? People are riling up to attack. But that caught me by surprise, right? That's literally what I was just going into. But he said these hacker groups said in 2 days, right, which goes into Friday. So let's see if something happens tomorrow. Lord willing, Abaratazah does, right? But the reason I brought this out is directly tied to the scripture. Right? This is Mark chapter 13 and verse 35, and it says, "Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning." Right? We don't know when Yahushua is going to come with the judgment, or when things are going to start hitting the fan. Right? Literally overnight, things could get chaotic. Right? There could be a disruptive event, how they talked into. Right? Let me bring out that article real quick. Satellite phones. Because they were talking about this a couple days ago. Saturners issued satellite phones offered demonstrations on upgraded security defense, right? It says, right here, a Department of Homeland Security advisor said satellite phones are a tool for responding to and coordinating government services in the case of a man-made. It's funny they put this in. I think it's called. I forgot what those are called. These things right here, right? Or natural disaster that wipes out communication, right? And the man-made, hey, they're definitely gonna blame that on Russia or China, right? When I made a video going into that, I went into how they would blame it on Russia or China, right? Man-made, Russian cyber attack. You see how everything's going in together. And then it says, or natural disaster that wipes out communication. And that leads me straight to this. NASA solar flare internet. NASA came out talking about how, yeah, right here. The solar storm. Let me type that in better. This was pretty much all over the news going into how, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's just look at this. Internet collapse. Let me type that in. See if I get the article I'm thinking about. Apocalypse. Now they're just talking about a probe that they sent. Where is the article? Let's look at this. But pretty much, I don't think I can find it. Pretty much NASA came out saying that there could be a solar flare in the next decade that could take out the internet for 6 to 12 months, right? Pretty much an entire year. And that ties directly into a cyber attack, right? A natural disaster that wipes out communication, or man-made, right? We can see through the lines what they're trying to say, right? Nothing is by coincidence. It's not a coincidence. NASA came out and said that weeks after this came out too. And the man-made, we can see that directly being tied to them blaming China or Russia, right? So we have to read through the lines sometimes and try to put the pieces together to see what they're trying to come up with, because ultimately there's going to be an event, how it talks about right here, that is going to cause the nations, right, the world, to go into chaos, because that's part of their game plan, right? It's called the order out of chaos, right? They bring the order, they bring the agenda, the event, right, the constructed event, to make people just pretty much go crazy, right? So they bring the event, which makes everyone go crazy, to the point where things are gonna be so bad, the people are gonna give up their human rights, right? They're gonna give up their morals for any type of solution, right? They're gonna be begging for any type of solution, even if it's completely just making them slaves. So that's part of their agenda, right? Order out of chaos. So now all we're doing is just waiting for the chaos, looking at the news, trying to tie it together, right? Being on the watchtower, how the scriptures go into, and just, hey, being aware, right? Who knows if this could happen? It might not happen. It might could, right? But if it does happen, let me tell you this: how Klaus Schwab said, a cyber pandemic, a cyber attack on the electricity, on the electric grid, would be catastrophic, and that would tie directly into their plan of bringing in the CBDCs, right, the digital system. And coincidentally, here it is, July 1st, we have the FedNow coming out, right? Let's get the definition on that. FedNow. The FedNow service, right? Launching July 2023. Instant payments with the FedNow service. Let me see if I can get the definition on this. At the most fundamental level, the service will provide interbank clearing and settlement that enables funds to be transferred from the account of a sender to the account of a receiver in near real time and at any time, any day of the year. Right? So pretty much instantaneous systems. Right? A new system for the banks to rely on. Right? And that made me think also now of, I think it was called Unicoin. Was it Unicoin? Yeah, I think it was this Universal. Yeah, the Digital Currency Monetary Authority announces international CBDC this week. The Universal Monetary Unit will enable instantaneous real-time settlement of cross-border payments. So here it is, the DCMA. Let me get that definition on that. Just some edification here. According to Daryl Hubbard, the executive director of the DCMA, the vision expressed by the IMF, what was that again? International Monetary Fund. So pretty much these guys are on top, or they deal directly with the central banks, right? And that's pretty much the elites, right? Because the central banks are what control everything, right? The money. And here it is. That's pretty. These people, right? They're directly tied to the central banks. They already have developed a CBDC, international, universal, right? One world, one currency, one religion. That's their vision. And here it is. They already have that set up. So who knows? July can come, and they roll out the FedNow, right? Instantaneous payments with the CBDC. Just like that, they could bring it out. Right? That's why we have to be constantly watching the news and tying it into prophecy. Because just how the scriptures went into, we don't know when things are going to happen. But we know that, hey, something is coming. Right? Something is coming. But yeah, I just wanted to just go into a couple news articles, bring out this video, and hopefully this was edifying. But with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.